It's very difficult to explain this to somebody in the modern day because really even modern paganism doesn't fully accept, this kind of magic. Really, if you think about it, it's only been like, I don't know, 150, 200 years of not believing versus thousands and tens of thousands of years that we did believe. And I think that, everyone just kind of went into hiding after the witch hunts. That era made everybody go into hiding. Basically, you've got, like I've said in other videos, you've got somebody who witnesses something, tells it to the grandchildren. Their grandchildren hears the stories, but they never witnessed anything. And therefore, by generation 3, their children's children, basically, or whatever, they don't hear any stories even, and they don't witness anything because it's all hidden, and it's hidden for a reason. If I show proof of this, I'd rather be seen as insane. I'd rather be seen as certifiably insane than have somebody, actually witness proof of it and then expose that to all the people who would do terrible things with that knowledge. I mean, they would try to eradicate. And, it just, you think that people would be accepting nowadays, but they wouldn't. They not even people that, are maybe not evil per se, but just fearful. They wouldn't. And maybe some people would, but most people wouldn't. And so for me to talk about things like this, my entire life, I can't even explain it because it's so unexplainable. But I have to in this, because this is actually like exactly what the topic is about. And I can't really fully explain to you unless I tell you why I'm doing it. Unless I tell you why I have to do this and why this is a step, a process in what I have to do for shifting further down the line. This is a step for, so basically the overall idea isn't that strange. I mean, the overall idea is that I gain full ultimate protection, as much protection at least as I can possibly gain, so that even when perhaps I'm fatigued of something and might miss a threat of some kind, even in those times I'm still protected, so that I don't have to play a game of whack-a-mole, okay, where a threat happens and I go chase after it, and then it just, I'm tired of whack-a-mole crap. So in the past, basically I only did something when I knew there was a great chance that something was going to happen in the immediate future, or when it was already happening. In some instances, actually, I did it after the fact. I had to do it after the fact, after I'd already been pained. And believe me, that's a lot more extensive because the pain's already within you, So much easier to create a shield before you're even pained, because otherwise you're combating against the pain and suffering and still trying to muster the strength to extract it from you. So let me just start at the beginning. And this really is the beginning, but this is going to tell you exactly why. Just bear with me, okay? You need to understand the truth in order to know why. So I was born different, and I was told that I was born actually out the same womb twice. First time, I wanted to be stubborn, and I thought I could do it on my own, and I also thought I didn't deserve help, but most of it I think was I thought I could do it on my own. I thought I was strong enough. And so when I was not born normal the first time, I refused help from my spirit guardians. Our spirit guardians / spirit guides, same thing, I use the word interchangeably, are there from birth to death. They're there to guide you on your life's path and purpose. They're also there to protect you. And I denied their protection. spirits in the spirit realm, they cannot do anything unless the physical realm allows. So they were powerless. And that is why I died the first time. Now my mother, they never tell me the truth, and they don't want me to ever know anything that would make me realize that I actually have some say in something, that I actually have the ability to fight back. They spent a lifetime literally trying to brainwash me to think that I had no control over anything. And, you know, that anytime something of magic happened, that it wasn't magic. It was either a dream, or it didn't happen at all, or I was insane, or whatever. So, going back to this. So the first time, I think it was about a week or two after I was born. So my mother wouldn't even say that. My mother said it was a miscarriage. No, it was a week or two after I was born, where I started growing teeth. And that's not normal that early. My family belonged to and they never told me this, they never let me know the name of it or anything like that. I could never investigate further because they would never even admit to it, but the paraphernalia in their house is just phenomenally obvious. So I know that they belong to some sort of 1500 style Abrahamic cult. They're very evil, they're very abusive. And when I was really, really young, the second time I was born, actually, I'll get to that later, but this time. Back up. So they killed me because they saw that unnatural early growing the teeth as some kind of demonic devil thing. The second time my mother got pregnant, it was also the same spirit, it was me. So the second time I actually did allow help because I understood that I died and I obviously was wrong and I obviously need help. I wasn't proud of it, but I allowed help. So the second time, I didn't have any teeth things, but I had something else, something different. They wanted to test to see if the child was quite a child of God. So what they did was, on the 9th, I was meant to have been born around 2-3 a.m. My mother went into labor early that night, I think. I don't know exactly what time. Maybe 10, 11 o'clock at night. And I was meant to be born, probably, early hours. So I guess technically, I don't know. I don't know the exact time, but somewhere probably around 2-3 a.m. on the 9th. And instead, they prolonged her they stalled her labor on purpose, so that I was born 2 days later, basically at 11, the 11th at like 7 o'clock, 6 or 7, like whatever's daybreak, about around that time, crack of dawn. So I wasn't even born on the right day, technically. And the only reason why I survived and my spirit guardians helped me remember this. My spirit guides wouldn't have, I did have a lot of dreams about it, but I don't think that I would have remembered fully without them. And I actually had shapeshifted in the womb to get out. They were telling me that I had to survive. And so I would scratch along the womb to try and get out. And I thought I was going to have to get out that way, but they actually pulled me out really forcefully because apparently it did something to, I heard her scream when I was still in the womb. I remember that. And it did enough to her, just enough that they were afraid of her life so that they pulled me out. But that was the only reason, because of her, not me. And I came out, I still had the claws and I was told to shift them back, so I did as quickly as I could. No one saw that, but they saw the eyes. I had different eyes. They were kind of reddish and then they faded to grey. And only a couple people that were helping deliver, only a couple of people saw that. I don't even think my parents saw it, but that was enough. They tried to give me several lethal doses of anesthesia. I technically did die, because my heart stopped just for a little bit. But my spirit guardians / spirit guides, I use those terms interchangeably, same thing. They're the ones that are there with you from birth to death. They guide you along your path, and they also protect you. And they actually, prevented me, they protected me from dying because I allowed the help, which I hadn't before. So when I was really young, they did obvious things, so they thought I wouldn't remember. They gassed me, they shot me, in the chest. They suffocated me, they tried to drown me, especially when I was being given baths, and when I was being tucked in, they would stick me with poison, needles full of poison. One time it was so bad I woke up in the door of a hospital morgue. Don't have time for that story, but basically it was really, and they would play mind games with me, and they'd be all nice to me and turn around and be evil, and it made me never trust when they were nice. I never trusted that it was genuine. I never trusted their true intent as to why they were being nice. I never trusted anything that they said, and so I was always suspicious, but I wasn't suspicious enough. As I got older, they were afraid that I would tell somebody that was outside the realm of this cult. I'm sorry that it's getting dusk. I'll have to turn on the light probably in a bit. And at a certain age, if you tell people like that, it might be early on enough that they could do something about it. Now, if I told anybody, it'd be too long ago. They don't have enough evidence, and who would believe me, honestly, at this point? But they were cowards, and they were afraid of that. So they resorted to poison, things that wouldn't be as easily detected. Things in my food, my water, even tactily. They put poison on my pillow, in my blankets, on my jackets. And now even now that I have my own place to live, that is technically their house because they want to control everything. But all at the same time, I agreed to it because I don't financially I have a learning disability, and I have it's a form of autism. I literally cannot learn things, and I also have sensory issues that goes along with that, prevent me from having a well-paid job. So it actually works in my favor that they want to control everything, and they can't do that if they live with me. They can't put poison in the vents if they're going to breathe the same air that I breathe. So I get to live alone because they don't want to breathe the same poison. So for a long time, I set up protection, where I was doing it, like I said, like a whack-a-mole. Anytime I knew that I was going to leave the house, especially they or somebody that they knew could come and put poison in it. I actually did eventually where it's constant, where anything in the air the winds always carry it away and it goes back to where they came. It's a ricochet shield. And that is the first time that I said, okay, done with the whack-a-mole on that. That was the first one I did. But now I've done it literally for everything. Seen and unforeseen in the future. All they have to do is plot. All they have to do is think about it. They don't even have to actually do it. They just think about it. And all the pain that they intend for me will go to them. It's very physical. It's very real. My magic might not be powerful enough to, say, suck every last drop of poison out of a poison muffin. Which, by the way, that's kind of how I learned on my birthdays. I always got sick on my birthdays. And a lady died of the same symptoms that I got sick on my birthdays with, just 1 hour after they left the house one time. And I just put 2 and 2 together and realised they're poisoning me. Anyway, moving on. Foreseen, unforeseen, doesn't matter. Because I don't have the time to make a mistake. We're all human. Especially when I'm fatigued, I might make a mistake. I might not see something coming. I don't have time to get wounded again. So while my magic isn't maybe capable of eliminating all that poison and making something like that I know is poison safe to eat, maybe I can't do that. But I can definitely give them a gigantic taste of their own poison. Just as much as they wish me to have. It goes by thought. That's how it works. It's a hex that goes by thought. So anytime they think about hurting me, they get pain. They get the pain that they think of. And my magic is strong enough for that. Yes, technically if I ate that muffin, I could filter it out with the help of my guardians especially, over the course of maybe a week or so. But it'd be brutally painful. Why would I do that? And that's just an example, but that is why I set it up this way. Doing this allows me to continue to mend and work on shifting choco work without getting wounded.